nice today, end of February. It's like 70 degrees, but now the wind's blowing sideways, so it might be a loud video. Came out to start my truck to haul some gravel for a customer because my dump truck has been broken for 4 months. And this truck wouldn't start. Well, it started, it fired up and then shut right off. And it's throwing a ECM code. I've had some problems with the batteries. As you can see, there's some corrosion also on the battery terminals. So have some like the oxidation with the battery terminals doesn't help, but these batteries have been tired when it's cold. Sometimes I have to jump it. I'm hoping it's just an electrical issue because the batteries are kind of low. I've seen that cause problems. It's thrown an ECM code and it had enough juice to start, but it wouldn't stay running. So I'm going to replace these 2 batteries. They've needed it, so regardless, the batteries need replaced. If it doesn't fix the truck running, then I'm gonna have to get it towed to the Ford dealer. But I got 2 Optima red tops. So I put Optimas in pretty much all my vehicles when they need a battery replacement, but expensive. I used to pay, I think, like $200 to $250. Now they were around $200, I think, when I bought some for my 6.0 2005 Power Stroke, and they lasted a long time. They were still in it when I got rid of it, but now they're basically $300 a battery. So I got $600 in these 2 batteries, and I'm gonna put them in here and hopefully it fixes my problem so I don't have to spend more money. I'll let you know. Using a 10 millimeter socket, loosen up this terminal. It's gonna have like a wedge that comes off that allows this to loosen up, and then it'll slip off. So when you tighten it down, the wedge is on an angle you can see right here, and it pulls this tight. Same with this side, you can see right here. So we're gonna loosen this one up, and maybe you can see the wedge loosen up. So the wedge will start to loosen here, and then it'll allow this to slide over and loosen tension. Pull them off. I'm gonna have to take these nuts off here. It's like a keeper. I don't know if we're going to be able to reuse them with the Optima battery. It's not a direct fit battery. It might just sit in here on the tray. I'll let you know here in a little bit. All right, so took these 2 nuts off. This one I used an extension with a deep well. No problems. Then this comes right off. If you want, you could cut this tape. Looks like, I think that's factory. Ford just electrical tapes it to the bracket. You could put a zip tie around the cable, and then you could put another zip tie through the bracket if you wanted to secure it. I think it's better than just electrical taping it to a steel bracket, but hey, whatever. And then lift this keeper off. It's all corroded and disgusting and rusty. As you can see, it left some on the battery. Gotta love all the corrosion and stuff. This truck, I mean, this is a 17, so this truck's about 6 years old now, so lets the salt and battery acid get to it. So now I can take this one off. It should be loose enough to lift up off. I'll just work it. You just have to loosen it up. You don't have to take it completely apart because it actually is self-contained. So once you loosen it up, you can put a big screwdriver in there if you want. Kind of spread this apart a little bit. That'll loosen up, and then you can lift it up off. You have to wiggle it while you're lifting. Hopefully we have enough cable, and then I gotta clean this terminal up. So now I gotta clean that all up inside of here and get rid of all that battery acid junk. Could be part of my problem, hopefully. There's no handles on the factory batteries in these trucks. It looks like there's a place on the side that you could put like some sort of carry handle to pick up on it, but I don't have that, so I'm gonna stand up on my side by side here and so I'm up higher and grab it on both sides and pull it up out. So it's probably got a little bit of weight to it also. All right, here's your battery tray. It's plastic. The terminals I cleaned up best I could. I wiped it down, sprayed it down with WD-40. I don't have a wire brush on me. Ideally a wire brush would be great. Also remember, it's a good idea to disconnect both batteries, because if one's still connected, you could still have this terminal energized. If it touches something metal and grounds out, it'll throw sparks. So remember that. It's a good idea to disconnect both batteries. Once I put the new battery in, I'm gonna put the battery grease. I forget the actual name for it, but I'm gonna put the battery grease on the terminals to help with that corrosion issue. So I run this keeper bar underneath the handle on this battery. Like I said, the other batteries, the factory ones, didn't have handles. There's a diaper that goes around the battery. I put it back around this one. I don't know if it helps or whatever. I know I took them off my old truck, but I put it back around. The good thing to do, I got these started on here. I WD-40 the hardware and the nuts just because they were corroded. It helps a little bit. I'm going to put some grease, the electric grease you can buy at the auto parts store, on the terminals, and then put the terminals on. I want to put the terminals on before I tighten this down, because it's a smaller battery and you don't have as much harness play. So it's a good idea to put your terminals on, tighten them down before you tighten this all the way down in case you have to move it. And sorry I didn't cover the basics. It's a good idea to disconnect your ground or black negative terminal first and then your positive, and then hook up your positive first and then your negative. But for anybody who's doesn't do anything mechanical and trying to tackle this, I'm sorry. I'm going to explain this now and put it at the front of the beginning. Minus is negative on the battery, plus is positive, like all batteries, usually red. But also on the terminal here, it's a plus, minus to minus, negative and positive. Make sure you hook that up or you'll have sparks. So don't be afraid to be too liberal with your grease. I coated them pretty good all over, put it on the poles, and then put the terminals on. I had to tap them down because they didn't want to open up, so I just tapped them down with a socket. Use a larger socket over the pole and just tap down evenly until they seat all the way. It did maneuver this battery over some. As I said, it's smaller. These bolts on the terminal right here, there's a square. There's a square on, where am I at? Square on the bottom right there. It's like a carriage style. So you might have to pull up on it to get that to engage, to tighten the nut down. Otherwise it'll just spin. It's like a carriage bolt on both sides. And then you just snug everything up. I got everything started. So make this terminal tight. Make these tight. Actually, I'm gonna make this terminal tight also. And then tighten these down so the battery doesn't move anywhere, because it's not nearly as big as the one that came out. But I like them. They work really well in cold temperatures. Has more, the last one was 750 cold cranking amps. This one is 800, so a little bit more cold cranking amps, and the cranking amps are 1,000. But these batteries work great. But they are pricey. All right, so this is all tightened up. I'm gonna go to the other side and install that battery the same way as I did this one, and then I'm going to see if my truck starts, or I have to spend a bunch more money. In the F-250s, this is the model number 3478. This one has, the 3478 has the poles you could connect to the front, and it has the top posts. They only had one of each battery. The part number, where are we at here? Part number's 34/78-980. The other battery is R34-980, and it's just a 34R. It only has the top posts. It doesn't have the front posts, but they only had one of each, so that's the only difference is, and I'm not using the front posts, so whatever. And then this is the other side. This is the driver's side. It's different. The other one was left to right. This one's front to back. Same thing, same setup. Still got corrosion. Everything is the same. It's just they're on the two front corners of the engine compartment. So I just want to point out, don't make the same mistake as me. Advanced Auto told me both of these batteries would work. The only difference is on this 34R versus the other one, I think, is a 7834, because just the 34R does not work because it puts the poles on the outside of the battery. They told me the only difference is it doesn't have the front posts, only has the top posts. That is not the difference. If you use the other battery, it right now this positive terminal will only reach right here. It won't reach over across the battery to this side. So if I get the other battery, and go figure, this battery I had to drive like 35 minutes away to the next town to get. So now I'm gonna have to drive to another town far away to get another one, because everybody only has one. Story of my life. But and then I can spend another 30 minutes at some point driving back to the other town to return this one, because they gave me the wrong battery. And I didn't pay attention to where the poles were. I just thought that they were right in what they were saying, that this 34R just doesn't have the front posts or poles, or it's actually, it doesn't have poles. I think they're internal, but it changes where these top posts are too. So now I can't hook it up because I don't have enough cable with the battery. But with the other one, the one on the other side, if I put that here, then the positive will hook up right here and the negative right here where they should be. So don't buy this battery for an F-250 diesel. It won't work. So I have both batteries hooked up. I just had to drive to a third Advanced Auto Parts. Luckily we're in like a triangle, so 30 minutes in every direction. And I got another one of those batteries that I needed. Also, you can check the dates. Like this one was manufactured 9/22. You don't want to get a real old battery, especially if they've been sitting on the shelf for a long time. So this is my stealth tuner. Don't mind this. It just sits on top of the battery. So anyways, two new batteries in here. Everything's cleaned up and it's got the electric grease on it. Hopefully prevent that corrosion. So two red top Optimas, I think they're 800 cold cranking amps, 1000 cranking. The red top batteries are really good. I've had good luck with them. I had them in some of my other trucks. They're expensive as heck, but they last. They have a 3-year warranty. Anyways, two new batteries. My truck was throwing an ECM code, which I've experienced not on this truck, but in other vehicles before. And I know that the batteries were low. I mean, it had enough to crank the truck and try to start, so it was making me a little nervous that it actually could be an ECM. But I know the batteries were tired in this truck. And on a real cold day, I'll have to jump start it. So two new red tops. I'm gonna give it a go. Maybe not. What's going on here? I don't know. Maybe it's because I got the hood open. That's odd. Maybe it's a safety feature. So I'll close the hood. Everything's clear. Lights flash when you close the hood. All right, now I'll try it with the hood closed. It must be a safety feature. Yes. Thank God I don't have to get my truck towed to a Ford dealership and cost me more money. I got $600 in those 2 red tops, just under $600, not much. But they are good batteries and I shouldn't have any more problems with dead batteries. Thanks for watching. The Optima red tops are pricey, but definitely the way to go, especially in cold climate. Please like and subscribe.